According to a recent opinion poll, 41% of Americans want to criminalise something called hate speech, which is what progressives call free speech they don't like, and effectively repeal the First Amendment to spare people's feelings. Isn't that considerate? You see, the First Amendment causes nothing but trouble in the modern world, as it gives people the right to express any opinion they like and to say things that are true but incorrect. Who ever thought that was a good idea? In fact, the entire US Constitution has a very unhelpful and unprogressive preoccupation with individual freedom. All those universal liberties would be enough to send a shiver down the spine of any self-respecting progressive if they had any self-respect. Or a spine. Now, admittedly, the values enshrined in the Constitution have made America the global superpower it is, and have enabled its culture to enrich the world as much as, or more than, any in human history. And admittedly, American values are the only reason that the world today is not one giant Soviet Union, but is that really enough reason to stubbornly uphold its most fundamental liberty and guiding principle when we know how much offence it can cause? Are we really such barbarians? So come on, America, get with the programme. Nobody else has free speech anymore. Why should you? Haven't you heard of fairness and equality? Everyone's talking about them on this side of the pond. Or do you want to keep us chained to these primitive values of the past forever? What are we, cavemen? You see, the people who drafted the Constitution had no idea how the world would develop in the 21st century because they were rational men who could never have conceived of progressive thinking even if they'd been on drugs. And if they were here today, they would think it was absolutely insane. That's how out of touch their ideas are with the modern world. They saw free speech as a liberating virtue because they didn't have the benefit of progressive thinking to guide and educate them. To them, the bright, clear values of the Enlightenment were still fresh and vibrant, not like they are now, inconvenient, diluted and compromised. So they took no account of the effect of free speech on people's feelings or on their self-image, because to their untutored minds, truth was truth and feelings were just feelings, and as for self-image, it hadn't even been invented yet. It was a different world. You see, what you need to understand, America, is that feelings are the new truth, and truth is the new blasphemy in this brave new progressive world of ours. I'm sorry, did I say brave? I meant cowardly, of course. So all critical opinion is rightly regarded as a form of assault, and everyone needs to be protected from assault. What about our human rights? And yes, we all know that free speech is essential for a healthy and vibrant society, but some things are more important than that. And yes, we know that it's the anchor to all our fundamental liberties and that without it we're completely at the mercy of unscrupulous politicians. And yes, we know that if we lose free speech it will herald the decline and eventual fall of Western civilization as we know it. But what a small price to pay for a bit of temporary peace and quiet. Free speech is provocative and it can cause division between communities. What could be worse? And yet you, in America, are the only people on the planet still stubbornly upholding it as a fundamental human liberty that no slippery politician has the right to take away. Aren't you ashamed of yourselves? You're out of step and you're out of line because you're embarrassing those of us who've already been bullied into giving up our birthright. You're making our cowardice more conspicuous and it's playing havoc with our feelings and our self-image. And please don't think that you can brazen this out as a bastion of free speech against the world, effectively offering a safe haven to any criminal who wants to express an incorrect opinion. If you do, it's only a matter of time before some helpful foreign court rules that the First Amendment violates international law and everybody's human rights. Bingo. And with the weight of progressive public opinion on their side, as it clearly already is, there'll be plenty of people in Congress willing to support legislation that neutralises the First Amendment while pretending to uphold it, as long as it's accompanied by plenty of pork barrel funding that they can squander to get re-elected. The progressive tide is coming in, America, and it's looking irreversible. Not least because the next generation is being carefully programmed right now by a progressive educational establishment to hold the First Amendment and all it represents in morally superior contempt. especially in universities where tomorrow's leaders will come from. In these traditionally liberal institutions, there is no First Amendment anymore, as it violates the safe space of students who are about as liberal as Stalin when it comes to hearing unwelcome opinions, because they've been purposely miseducated to think that they know best for everyone and to be intolerant, repressive and bigoted for all the correct, progressive reasons in order to help steer society where it doesn't want to go for its own good. You know the form by now. To this mentality, the First Amendment isn't simply an inconvenience or an obstacle to be overcome, it's a crime against humanity. And these are the people who'll be running America a few decades from now, the politicians, the judges and the clever lawyers of tomorrow. So the days of that pesky, troublesome First Amendment are clearly numbered, folks, and when you think of all the trouble it's caused, you can't say that's a bad thing. Well, you can now, obviously, but not for long. Peace, and God bless America. Well, somebody had to say it.